Hello everyone, this is Jeff from Michigan Living. Is Dave Chappell killing a low-income housing deal? Let's find out, shall we? Hello everyone. Well, it seems like Dave Chappell is getting into a little bit of mischief and stuff with a local city village council about some building plans that a developer wants to be able to have inside of the city. Let's talk about it, shall we? All right. Dave Chappell is telling the village council and stuff, you look like a bunch of clowns. Because they want to be able to do development in the area's home. Now, the reason why this is interesting news is because, in all truth and stuff like that, I can't blame him. He, in the deal and stuff like that, he has his home, and then he also has a business and stuff like that he's also being able to bring into the village, and he's investing like $50 million into this. All right. Not exactly a small chunk of change. Now, there's also other factors inside that are going on, but I'm going to be bringing up and talking about the article and what's going on with him and stuff like that. So, on Monday night, comedian Dave Chappell, who is worth an estimated $50 million, told the village council where he lives, "You look like clowns," as he voices opposition to the town accepting a developer's plan to build single-family homes, duplexes, and townhouses near his property. But there always was a deal about them building properties and stuff like that. But from what I'm gathering and from other sources, etc., is that those properties and stuff that were going to be like $300,000 single-family homes. He had no problems with that. But you'll hear. At a town meeting of the Yellow Springs Village Council, Chappell stated, "I just want to say," and Councilmember Marianne McQueen, "I can talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while it kicks out a $65 million a year company." That's what he's referring to his other company that he was bringing in. Like I mentioned, "I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I'm not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. Thank you." He just stood up, did this. There's a little video down below and stuff about him. I'm not going to play it because it's copyright and everything. But you guys can be able to see it all on your own and stuff like that. Because, you can see where everything is. It's over in the Daily Mail. The $65 million company Chappell referred to is apparently his company, Iron Table Holdings, which bought a local fire station in late 2021 and plans to convert it into a restaurant called Firehouse Eatery. So he's trying to be able to build a restaurant in this town in order to try and be able to do, to draw a bunch of people in. All right. And he's also, has his home. And there's the other places wanting to be able to build all these properties, trying to be able to bring in some good cash, right? For the town. So, a Firehouse Eatery with an attached comedy club called Live from YS. So it's going to be a restaurant with a comedy club with it. Who would think that there's Dave Chappell would want to be interested in a comedy club? The $24 million company is apparently the developer Oberer Land Developers, which submitted the proposal for new housing development valued at roughly $39 million. The village and Oberer had worked together to produce a plan that would include duplexes and affordable housing along with single-family homes in a 53-acre area along Spillin Road, blah, 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 at the edge of the town. The village initially asked for the developer to advance affordable housing in the village, including an area that the village would later be able to develop into affordable housing, as well as more duplexes and townhomes. The Daily News stated that the proposed development would have included 64 single-family homes, 52 duplexes, and 24 townhomes, with an additional 1.75 acres to be donated to the community for affordable housing to be built later. Yeah, but would you want affordable housing to be built right next to your mansion if you were Dave Chappell? Not likely. And so that's why, of course, he's having an issue with it. Because the initial proposal and so that was for 143 single-family homes. Part that isn't talked about in here is that they were supposed to be like about $300,000 homes. He knew about this before, and he had no problems with it. It's when they converted it over to all of a sudden wanting to be able to do also low-income housing and all this other stuff. That's when he had a problem with it. So, as you can be able to see about a bunch of stuff that's going on in here, it's just simply that he's just trying to look up for himself. If you were in this situation, I'm sure, most of you would probably do the same. After all, why would you want to be able to build a mansion and do all this stuff and then put all this investment in a town to try and be able to build it all up if all you want to really be able to do is put in cheap houses and then put in a bunch of living assisted or assisted living or whatever homes around in the area. Now, it's also an issue there, and I'm pretty sure it's not in here. Oh, well, we'll just talk about that. Chappell chimed in, I've invested millions of dollars in town. If you push this thing through, what I'm investing in is no longer applicable. I would say that Uber can buy all of this property from me if they want to be your benefactor because I will no longer want to. He concluded we should use more of a visionary eye instead of a reactionary one because the potential for this place is immense and Uber is not the only solution. Now in here, and so you can also be able to see in the little picture, and so it's a video, where's right there in the left-hand corner, that's Chappell talking and so that at the city council. Now, the one thing that's also not talked about a lot in here is that the road that all this is on is a very small road, dirt road, that is like barely 2 cars wide. Even the city acknowledges that it's extremely dangerous. And it's one I guess Dave also lives on. But it's they would have to rip out the entire street, rebuild it, add all this stuff to it and everything else like that, which the city really doesn't want to do. But they're going to have to do something with it eventually. The only thing that is a little shocking about this is the fact that usually in Soviet, for cities in Soviet, they usually always don't like to do anything reactionary. They always want to be able to have a plan, a 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan. What they see, going into the future. Sorry. So to be reactionary like that, where all of a sudden a company comes in and goes, hey, look what we can be able to do. Generally it's not a wise idea. So hopefully in Soviet, now that they actually had their vote and they're going to be going back to the original idea, hopefully now in Soviet this thing will become a really good thing for that town. But what's really interesting to me about all this is that you have a town, you bring in a celebrity, he's willing to be able to make all this, he's willing to spend all this money in the town, and then you just haphazardly decide that you're going to be wanting to be able to do something else and whatever. Generally not a wise idea. Pick your investments, figure out what you're going to want to do, have your long-term goals and how you want the city, the village, etc. to be. How do you want it to be, right? And then you have to be able to think about the long term. So hopefully now so that this town of it will actually continue on with their long-term plans And I'm sure if there's any more little issues and stuff like that, I'm sure Witters will bring it up. All right, then till next time. Thank you.